Hebrews 10, 35 and 36 together. Consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. And perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. And now I invite you to read from the front cover of your bulletin. So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what he has promised. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. You may be seated. So our passage says you need to persevere. And in our culture where many people are giving up, that is important to hear. Kobe Bryant's death was devastating for millions of Americans. I find the younger generation doesn't even know who Kobe Bryant was. But he seemed to always find a way to not be stopped on the basketball court. And sadly, even Kobe, one of the greatest athletes in American history, died the other day. And one of Kobe's greatest quotes was about his theory of making it to the top and his theory of perseverance. And that's why I'm quoting it today. He said, "I have nothing in common with lazy people who blame others for their lack of success. Great things come from hard work and perseverance, no excuses." And Kobe lived this in many ways. He was described by his teammates as always the first one to enter the gym, always the last one to leave the gym for practice. And even after he won the Olympics, after he was declared an NBA All-Star or scored 81 points in the game, he still got up every morning at 5 in the morning and was sweating by 6 in the morning working out. He was on the same team, the LA Lakers, for 20 years, which is a rarity, and that means that he persevered through the good and the bad of that team. So he lived out perseverance. He didn't just talk about it. And Jesus himself is perhaps the best example of perseverance. He persevered through tons of criticism. When you read the New Testament, you see he was criticized over and over again and called a failure and was actually condemned as like a thief when he was innocent and most innocent. He persevered to the cross and through mocking to achieve God's glory and God's purpose for his life. And he set a good example for us. Today is football Super Bowl Sunday as well, and Mike Pearson is playing in the Super Bowl for the 49ers as an offensive lineman. Mike entered the draft several years ago in the 7th round, which meant he wasn't likely to make it at all. He played for 8 teams in 9 years. He played for the Colts just for 10 days, didn't even see a snap. And 2 years ago, he was cut. He had been cut 8 times, and he said, "I'm just going to retire and give up." But the 49ers asked him if he wanted to try out, and he said he would. So he tried back out for his original team, and now he's in the Super Bowl. And last year, as an offensive lineman, he only had 1 sack, which is great for an offensive lineman, and he got a $4 million contract this year. And this is what he said about perseverance. "You've just got to keep plugging," he said. "There's always going to be better days ahead of you if you just keep on pounding through what you're going through right now. Your confidence will take hits, but you got to keep plugging." And our passage says, "So do not throw away your confidence." Our confidence as Christians is not simply in our own abilities and our own strength, but our confidence comes from the God who is with us, who calls us and has made us with a purpose to honor and glorify him. One of Pearson's teammates is a guy named Raheem Mostert, who was a running back, and he played for 7 teams in 2 years, cut 7 times. But against Green Bay in the championship the other week, he ran for over 200 yards, and now he's in the Super Bowl as the running back. He says, it's having the faith and never losing the faith that is important. You know, God does give us confidence if we keep our faith in him. In a time when people give up in so many ways and turn to drugs or turn to alcohol or just give up when the tough happens, we need to hear it's important to have God sustaining us and strengthening us and to not just endure, but to persevere. Jesus encourages us to persevere in this life. I want to read some passages that he said. He said, he who endures to the end shall be saved. In Matthew 10:22. He said, if you continue in my word, you are truly my disciples. John 8:31. He said, remain in me and I will remain in you. John 15:4. He said this about prayer. In the Greek, it's the present perfect tense, so we don't always get it. And when we read it, we think, ask and it shall be given to you. But it really says, ask and keep on asking, and it shall be given to you. Knock and keep on knocking, and the door will be open to you. Keep on seeking, and you will find. And Jesus gave that great parable about the widow who was imploring the judge for a request, and the judge keeps turning her down and turning a deaf ear and refusing to hear her case. And she keeps on persisting until he finally gives in and grants her request. And he says, that's what you need to do about prayer, is just don't give up, but keep on keeping on. There's lots of great illustrations from nature, too, about perseverance. One example is a fertilized egg. You know, in an egg, a chick is trying to get out of that egg. At first, when the chick starts pecking on the shell, trying to get out, it makes no dents at all. But the more it pecks, the stronger it gets, and the weaker the shell gets, until finally the chick gets out, and it's able to exist because it's earned its strength through this pecking. Same way with butterflies. Butterflies are a little chrysalis, and you know the butterfly must spread its wings and stretch its wings and break through the chrysalis, and then when it's done all that exercise to get out, it's able to fly. And you know the old story is a mother shows her child a little chrysalis and says, now there's a butterfly in that chrysalis. And what does the child do? Well, let me get that butterfly out. If I can just break that chrysalis, the butterfly will come out. No. If you make it too easy, the butterfly will just flop around. It has to stretch its wings and get its strength. And the same is with us. We are designed to persevere through the trials and the problems of life. We are not designed to always have it easy. And, you know, if you want your child to walk, your little infant to walk, you got to let them fall a few times. We are designed to persevere and have a vision of perseverance. He talks about it here. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what is promised. Have your eyes fixed on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. Have that vision in your eyes. Our faith grows stronger as we overcome obstacles. And, you know, weightlifters, when they lift weights, how does that work? It's called resistant training. The more your muscles resist the weight, the stronger they get. And it's the same with our souls. The more we face obstacles and overcome those obstacles, the stronger we get if we persevere and do not give up. Scriptures say, do not throw away your confidence, and our confidence is found in God, who is with us and helps us to persevere. Today is not just Super Bowl Sunday. It is also Groundhog Day. And one of my favorite movies is Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. If you haven't seen it, you got to YouTube it. It's been an old movie. You can watch it. But the movie is about a weatherman who is stuck in the same day over and over and over again. He's a very selfish guy. He thinks the whole world revolves around him, and he's stuck in this same day. And at first he tries to manipulate his circumstances so he can manipulate people and make himself better, almost to be a god, if you will. And then he starts despairing because he can't get out of that day. Can you imagine being in that kind of a rut, having to live the same day over and over and over again? He even tries to end his life, and he finds he can't, that he still has to endure the same day over and over again. But then he begins to get the picture, and he tries to make himself better and trying to help somebody who might get hurt in an accident, or trying to help somebody who's about to choke and being there for them when they're in need. And he finally learns what love is and getting beyond himself and persevering in love. And then he wakes up and it's a new day. When you persevere, you get past your failures, you get past your mistakes, and you get past the problems that have been presented in your life and the sicknesses and the horrors of life. It's a new day, and you can start it with Jesus Christ. Let him be your help. Let him be your strength and your refuge. You know, today we're going to have communion. And in communion, we believe that we commune with the living Lord. And one of the last things that Jesus said on this earth was, "Lo, I am with you always." And that means he's with us wherever we go. So you're not just persevering all by yourself, but he is there with you. Put your confidence in him. And keep the faith. Keep the faith. Amen.
Glory.